As we gather today on this Palm Sunday, probably not the way at the beginning of this Lenten journey, is how I would have expected Palm Sunday would be this year. Um, a lot has happened in the last 40 days, and a lot more is to happen. As we prepare ourselves for the next week and Easter, may we just take time to think about where our lives are right now and where we're heading as we head towards Easter. But on this Palm Sunday, let's not forget that this day was a day of celebration as Jesus entered into Jerusalem. The crowds were happy. The crowds were shouting, Hosanna to the Son of David, seeing that Jesus was entering into Jerusalem. The crowds were happy, knowing that this was fulfilling the prophecy that Matthew talked about, as we have talked about before, that Matthew's gospel is all about the fulfillment of the Old Testament and of the prophets. And we're seeing that in the reading today as Jesus enters into Jerusalem on a donkey. Now, this is different than how most the Jews would have expected Jesus or the Messiah to enter. They were thinking of David, how David would enter the city on his big horse as he had come from conquering armies, entering in Jerusalem, celebrating the victories of war. But that's not how Jesus entered. Just as the people in Jerusalem were expecting the Messiah to be more like David. But Jesus is teaching them that he is not David. He's not a conquering king that will come in and kick out the Romans out of their beautiful city. He's coming in peace on a donkey. And for a moment, the people are celebrating this. We see them throwing their cloaks on the ground and taking the palms and waving in it and welcoming Jesus into Jerusalem as the king that he is. But as we go through this week, and as we get closer to Maundy, Thursday, we see this crowd that is celebrating Jesus' entry into Jerusalem change. Like in our prayer this morning, it talked about a fickle crowd. Here on Palm Sunday, they were celebrating and happy to see Jesus coming in. But on Maundy, Thursday, we see the crowd saying, "Crucify him. Crucify him." How fickle of people are we? And as we go through this week, this holiest of weeks, what crowd are we? Are we the crowd that's on Palm Sunday that's celebrating Jesus's entry into Jerusalem? Are we the crowd that is on Good Friday that's saying, "Crucify him, crucify him"? It's a tough question that we each need to reflect and look on. But as we wait for next Sunday, Easter Sunday, we can't miss the in-between. We can't go from the celebration of Palm Sunday into the celebration of Easter. We can't miss the Holy Week. Without the Holy Week, the cross doesn't make sense. So as we go through this holiest of weeks, let us remember and focus on what Jesus will be going through, what he does for each and every one of us as he makes his journey to the cross. And as we wait for Easter Sunday, knowing that he has died and rose again. And what a glorious thing that is, to know that Christ has died and has rose again for each and every one of us. We thank him for that. We're thankful for Easter. We're thankful for Palm Sunday, but we also need to be thankful for this holiest of holy weeks where Jesus will be whipped, beaten, and sent to a cross. Let us be the Easter people that Jesus wants us to be. Let us learn from what Jesus has done in this holiest of weeks and realize how much he loves us. And with that love, let's take that love into the world and to love our neighbors. And in this time of the coronavirus, that might be difficult, but we can find ways to continue to love our neighbor. And more importantly, continue to love God, knowing that God is with us through this time. It's not easy, but we know that we have a God that loves us, who continues to be with us through this time. And we thank him for that. I just kind of want to open it up now. I want to get the group's reflection on what the Holy Week means to you and how you're going to celebrate it during this time of the coronavirus. How are you going to celebrate, or how is this Holy Week going to be for you?